just wouldn't let me type anything in.
We just don't type anything in.
Let me know if it does. All right. Fellow freedom fighters of Jackson, Mississippi. Give everybody a minute to get in the room here.
Can you see when people join it?
I'm about to be able to. Let's see. We have got a few things to talk about tonight in the world of Jackson, Mississippi, and America. We're going to branch out a little tonight. Get my phone pulled up here. Get everybody on the same page. We have an in-studio audience. All right. I see myself here. On the same page. All right. What is up, Nicholas, Bernita, Thomas, Chuck, Shelby? My mother is asking me why I'm wearing a mask. Bud Light. This is the Bud Light themed mask. So, I don't know. I have a mask and matching shirt and beer can. It just, why not? YOLO, right? So, tonight, I had to stop by Walmart. Okay, enough of the mask. I had to stop by Walmart in Byram, and I had on a mask because, you know, nobody likes to be recognized at Walmart in Byram or any other Walmart, Richland, Pearl, Brandon, Clinton, you name it. The last place you want anybody to recognize you is there. And I was in a bad mood because my wife gave away my TV tray. So I had to go buy another one. But that neither here nor there. I was giving everybody resting bitch face from up under the mask. They probably saw the resting bitch eyes. But I got to noticing something. The whole people of Walmart thing, like the trashy people of Walmart thing, is wide open right now. Like, people are in there almost buck naked, but they got their mask on and their fluorescent green hair or fried blonde hair or, you know, whatever, purple hair and fat rolls and booty holes and all that stuff hanging out. And it's terrible. More viruses are coming out of their back end than could ever come out of their front end. And I got what I had to get. Mama, she gave my tray away to her aunt and uncle. I know. It's terrible. Allegedly, we're getting it back. Shelby's mad at you.
Very.
So neither here nor there. I bought another little middle of the mall table, something to hold us by. $22. We're going to order a new one on Amazon. And if we ever get the other one back, we'll just have two. But man, I was just walking around Walmart and just seeing the things I'm seeing. And it really made me realize that Walmart in central Mississippi has become the new club. Because you run across anything in there, it's terrible. I mean, the things I saw at Walmart at 6:30, 7 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon just had me like, oh my God, do you even know who your parents are? Terrible. So, I get in, I get out, I buy some coffee and a new table. And I get out to the car, and they were riding around, and my daughter wants some pizza, so I had to stop at Domino's. And I got to be really cool here. Everybody is so quick to bash fast food restaurants. Domino's and Byram. They got about 20 of them working in a room the size of this closet I do this live stream from. And they were so nice and so professional. I actually parked my car, went in, placed my order. They only let 2 people at a time in. They kept their mask on the whole time. If you're into that kind of thing, made me wear mine. Long story short, I sat out my car about 10 minutes, went back in. 3 pizzas were ready. Brought them home, ate them. They were great. So, shout out to Domino's and Byram. Great service, very polite people. We're very quick to bash on young kids working at fast food restaurants. So I want to make sure we highlight one when they do good. So Domino's and Byram, Save Jackson approved. For whatever that's worth. Let's see. So something else. The other night we talked about the young lady, Chelsea, and I know I'm saying her last name wrong, Kirchnick, who passed away 3 years ago in Jackson. Was the victim of a violent homicide downtown by the Baptist Hospital. Man, you just never know who's watching your videos, right? So her former stepfather reached out to me, and then yesterday her mother reached out to me. We're working on the logistics now. We are going to, or at least the plan right now is hopefully this weekend to get her mama and me in the same room and do a live stream and do some answer some questions and discuss what happened and what's happened since the senseless murder of her daughter, and kind of go into detail. I don't let too much out the bag because we haven't talked a whole lot, but that's where my mind's at, and I believe that's what she's wanting to do as well. We have some mutual family members / friends who I've been in communication with, so I'll keep y'all posted on that. So it'd be good stuff to hear about that. Sorry, I'm reading the comments a little bit there. What else was it today? Oh, so the mayor of Jackson today, him and the chief of police, because they have nothing better to do. They don't have a donor of theirs, and Greta Bully being charged with all kind of shenanigans. You know, not a single press conference about that. They have a 25-year plus officer that's sitting out in Madison County with federal sex crime charges against him. Not a single press conference about that. And this is from a crew that loves to do press conferences. Loves press conferences. But they're going to sit out there at some old abandoned apartments and talk about city blight cleanup. What about the city and the blight and the cleanup they own? The Valley Gas building, the Junior Achievements building down at the end of High Street. What about these churches here in the city? I mean, I know I preach about this all the time, and everybody's like, oh, you say the same thing all the time. Well, it's still the same crap. You know, these churches aren't paying taxes, aren't keeping their property clean. The city's not enforcing the code, and they're littered and riddled and infested with prostitution, vagrants, and drugs. And let me just tell you something. As a white guy that grew up in South Jackson, when I come back through the South Side and I see white meth heads back in the city, brother, I'm telling you, there ain't a further rock bottom than that. Nuke it, flatten it, and start over. When white meth heads are pushing their grocery carts around your neighborhood, it's too late. There's no coming back. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people in here talking about me, oh, Clay, you were a part of Celebrate Recovery, and you was in church and all that. And I was. And I do believe in Celebrate Recovery for the people that want help. But you got to get out there to a place like Hickory Ridge and these other places that offer that. If you're still out on the street pushing a grocery cart up and down McDowell Road, bumming people for dope, we're not ready to talk yet. Oh, yeah. Walgreens in Byram. Y'all know I live right here on the edge of... I live right here on the edge of Byram and South Jackson, so we do most of our business in Byram. Walgreens in Byram. I went last night to get a prescription filled for my wife, and the drive-thru was closed, which I thought was awfully funny. Awfully funny that the drive-thru's closed, because, hey, why wouldn't you close the inside if you were going to close one or the other, right? For safety purposes, and maybe I don't get it. Maybe I'm all wrong and the drive-thru is more dangerous. But the drive-thru was closed. So I went in last night to pick up a prescription. Of course, they didn't have it. It got sent to the wrong pharmacy. Well, I see in one of the Facebook groups today that to Walgreens in Byram is closed. And apparently, allegedly, I want to make sure I say it right, allegedly, a team member there got the COVID. And they had to close it down for a deep cleansing.
I called though and had my prescription sent to it.
Yep, after they were still accepting prescriptions being sent over there. So, fast forward a couple hours. Well, you can get your prescription moved over to the Clinton location, since they're open till, I believe, 10 o'clock or something like that. Well, good luck with that, getting on the phone and getting anybody there, because everybody at Byram is now trying to get their prescriptions sent to Clinton. Basically impossible if you weren't one of the first in line. So it just gets you thinking, what is plan B if one of these pharmacies gets shut down? Because they closed the Walgreens there at the corner of Cooper and Terry Road. Not sure what your other options would be if you live in Hinds County and you don't want to drive across town. Best to my knowledge, there are no 24-hour pharmacies open in Walgreens. I know there's 24-hour Walgreens that just the stores are open, but not a pharmacy. So just a heads up, if you have any prescriptions you need filled at the Byram Walgreens, you may want to make other arrangements. They could be back open tomorrow. It could be a couple, 2 or 3 more days. It's kind of wide open there. So, and especially if it's a narcotic base, a barbiturate, a pain pill, Xanax, sleeping pills, anything like that. Just a heads up, you may want to try to get it moved.
I'm just trying to get my antibiotics.
Yeah, we're just trying to get antibiotics. So, let's see, we had to switch from Clinton months ago. Yeah, look, it's a pain in the butt. I guess we could get it moved to Walmart or somewhere, but then you got to go in there and give them your insurance information for the first time. Who wants to go through all that, really? Let me think here. I want to bounce around a little, and this page, and this is your warning, this is where we're going to move off from Jackson for a little, and we're going to kind of represent this red, white, and blue. And I've tiptoed around it for a while. I even started my other page, Clay Edwards Media. But I just feel like, it's time for patriots to kind of band together. I don't care what color you are, white, black, blue, green, Democrat, Republican. If you're a family-first individual, and you're like, man, I don't care about none of this nonsense. I'm worried about my family. The world is getting crazy. We're going to start, this page is going to start gearing towards you and your interest. Again, I don't care about none of that political stuff. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care about anything. If you love your family, if you love your job, and you love this country, and you want to protect those things, that's all I care about. Don't care about nothing else. With that said, have y'all been watching what's going on in Portland and Chicago? Apparently in Chicago tonight, they're going to remove the Christopher Columbus statue because they have mounted up outside Mayor Lightfoot's house. And they're going to remove the Christopher Columbus statue. They're refusing federal help from Trump. Then out in Portland, you've got the beep mayor out there. My daughter's in the room, so I cannot cuss tonight.
Yes, you can.
She said yes.
She says yes, I can, but I'm not going to. You got the girly man mayor out there in Portland rioting with the rioters, throwing tear gas at the federal government. Man, I'm telling you guys, we're this close. We're this close to a civil war popping off in America, and I don't know how it unfolds. It ain't like we have 2 separate armies and stuff like that, but it's very unique, and we need to get this under control. It's a sad, sad deal, when you have mayors of these hardcore left-wing cities with people getting murdered, especially in somewhere like Chicago, people getting murdered in industrial strengths numbers every weekend in gun violence, but they refuse federal help. What do you say about that, man? I don't get it. How do 50, 60 people get shot in your town and you play the race card when the president wants to send in help? I mean, you take that help. You take it. Look, if Obama had wanted to send help into Jackson, Mississippi, I would have headed up the welcoming party. We'd have done a ribbon cutting. You know, I'd have said change. All that, man. I don't care. When it comes to our cities, we have got to start caring more. I wish to God Trump would send the federal troops into Jackson. And if Biden's president after Trump or whatever, God forbid, if one of them send troops in here, man, that stuff that goes on nationally is great. It's fun to keep up with. We really hang our hats on it. But it's these local elections and what goes on here locally that really affect our lives. And it's why you need to get involved in politics early. You know, don't just listen to what your parents did or what your auntie did or what your uncle did. You know, you need to figure out the battle of good versus evil early. And pick a side. Figure out who you like. Figure out who's got the same beliefs as you. If you believe in abortion, well, then you need to go over here. If you believe in God, guns, and country, and pro-life, you need to go over here. There ain't no in the middle when it comes to that kind of stuff. You know, so figure it out early. It ain't rocket science. You know, either in God we trust or God we don't. They ain't but two sides, good and evil. So, I'm getting a little off track here. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about Portland. The moms of Portland. The moms of Portland force field. Have y'all seen this? The moms of Portland dressed up in their yellow shirts. Basically like Operation Human Shield, locked arm in arm. Man, that is not moms of Portland. That is whores of Portland that don't know who their baby daddy is. And then locked up. Because they got knocked up. And they were the same people. They were the same women that were wearing jet black. If you watch Andrew Noy, NGYO, one of the best political guys that gets out and films in terror zones like that. He put a piece together showing it's the same women. They even got matching tattoos and body fat and fat rolls and all that. It's the same women. They're from a couple nights before. They're part of the Antifa Black Bloc. And the black has nothing to do with their color. It's what color they wear. Then they just change shirts and look like a bunch of roller derby rejects. So, the Antifa mom communists. Yeah, exactly. So, and it's relevant. I know we try to keep stuff really Jackson-centric here, but it's relevant, right? Because we have a neighborhood like Fondren in Jackson, and Fondren's a lot like Portland. So, you don't think for a second that the Fondrenites wouldn't posse up against and try to start raising hell and burning down their own buildings and stuff. So I always think it would be funny, right? If you got a bunch of Rankin County conservatives, Hinds County conservatives, and you went and you took over Fondren and you created your own CHAZ down there. And you locked them all out. Said, boom, this is now property of the Mississippi militia or whatever. I don't know. I don't know any militias, but I'm just thinking, if you did the same exact thing that they did in Seattle, but it was with a conservative thing, so of course they would have to call it a militia. You know, of course we would have AR-15s. And of course, we would be the enemy of the state. And Turncoat Tate would have us all shot and ran out of there quicker than we could blink an eyeball. Sorry, I'm kind of reading the comments here. I know we have Antifa here too. Sorta. No real ones though. BJ said fun boys. Exactly. I'm just telling y'all, man, it's wild. It's wild. And, you know, this is the kind of show I've been wanting to do, man, where we start and we talk about some national stuff and we bring it back to a local level. Like, how does it affect us? You know, well, it affects us because at the end of the day, you get enough of these crazy East Coast, left coast liberals, and they start trying our gun grabs, and they start, you know, here's a great example before I get off track here. And I shared this on my Clay Edwards media page earlier. Donald Trump shared it. It's from the New York Post. I'd been hearing about it, but I had not actually read a whole article on it. But it's about, it was an Obama-Biden era thing where they started about kind of resegregating the suburbs, kind of. But it was based on class. They're basically saying that if you had a big, nice neighborhood with X amount of yardage and square footage and stuff, that they could come build a low-end apartment complex in the middle of your neighborhood and you couldn't do anything about it. That poor people deserve to live in the suburbs too. And of course, theirs is all race-related. And look, I don't agree with it for black people, for white people, for Mexicans, for anybody. You know, if you grew up in a trailer park, and I love my friends from Pearl, but they know I love to pick them about the trailers. If you grew up in a trailer park in Pearl or Richland, and you got up out that, and you go and you buy a house out in Madison, Flowood, Florence, out here in the sticks of Byram, out in the middle of nowhere, you know, you got 5 or 6 nice houses, a couple acres on each lot, and some asshole comes and puts a couple trailers right in the middle of your house, of your neighborhood. Are you going to be happy? And let me just, for clarification here, so nobody can say anything. You're white, they're white. And some white trash comes and puts a trailer in the middle of your yard on some federal regulations that says, we ain't got no zoning laws. We can do this. You can't stop us from doing this. They buy the lot next door to you, regardless of how it's zoned, and said, man, we putting a double wide right here. Like it, love it, or leave it. They're going to have a Trans Am out front, no doors, no T-tops, nothing works but the radio. It's their jukebox / grill. You know, I mean, more and more blacks and minorities are moving out of cities at a faster rate now than ever have before because they want to escape the taxes and the crimes, and they're willing to sacrifice other aspects of their life for a safer life in the suburbs. So it's not even about white flight anymore. It's about safety and education for their family. You know, one of the greatest mistakes I have in my life is I held on in South Jackson for so long. My daughter never got to play in a neighborhood where she got to ride her bike around. It was just selfish on my end. I kept thinking it would come back, you know. Finally, we moved her and my mother out to my grandmother's house in Florence. And I don't mean we didn't just use their address. We moved them to Florence. And, you know, they went to school in Florence and she came back here. Because I refuse to send my daughter to Jackson Public Schools. Y'all can say whatever you want to about me. Get it how you live, man. If you can afford, if you have any other way to get your kids out of Jackson Public Schools, by hook or by crook, get them out of Jackson Public Schools. I cannot, as an adult, tell you enough. If you come into this city, have multiple guns in your car. Have a pistol of some sort that you can grab quick, and have you an AR-15 or something on the back seat in case you get hunkered down into a bad situation and you got to shoot yourself out of it. Get you a dash cam, a body cam, whatever kind of cam to record your situation, because you don't want your story of self-defense to be told through someone else's eyes. Man, my car is like a rolling fortress now. Not even so much because of the guns, but because of the cameras. I've got them facing me. I got them facing out the dash. I got them everywhere. If I get pulled over, and I'm not worried about the cops, man. The cops, this is not about JPD. They got some shit going on in there, and they got some. They're cleaning house, but the foot soldiers in JPD, man, they're good folks. You just got some old school guys there. They've been running the roost too long with too much leadership changes. Same thing happens in the car business, man. You get too many old school guys that stuck around when there's leadership change, and they become the real leaders, and they ain't always good people. So y'all don't hold that against JPD. JPD will get fixed. It may take to the next mayor, and that's a one-term deal. We are close to a next mayor. I don't know who it's going to be, but we're close to it. Let me see. Let me read a few comments here. Clay, I saw someone steal a truck from Granger by Daniel Lake Boulevard the other day. Thought about stopping him and pulling my gun on him, but figured that wasn't my place. Yeah, Thomas, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, right? If you want to stop the crime, but is it worth your life to lose it over? I mean, is it your truck? Is it insured? I mean, what do? It's like if I see somebody doing something, I'm going to call the cops. But, I mean, I worked with a guy a couple years back. We had a car stolen from the dealership I worked at. Big car dealership out in North Jackson. And so you would pull in off the frontage road and you would drive into the service aisle of the shop. Well, cars didn't come back down it. I just happened to be looking out the window and saw a car ramp out of the service department driving back towards the frontage road. And I was like, well, that ain't right. So I went over there and I said, hey, man, what's going on? And they're like, somebody just stole a damn car out of the service bay. And my buddy goes to get in the car and chase him. I'm like, don't do that. It ain't worth it. It ain't your car. It does not affect your paycheck one way or the other. I hate being like that. But so he's running around chasing the car, calling the cops. And the cops are telling him, don't do this. We're going to arrest you for chasing them. And when he gets back, he damn near loses his job because of liability purposes and insurance and all this other stuff. And it's like almost they would just rather you steal the car and get away with it than cause any more collateral damage. And what a weird place to live in. It's like, well, hey, look, the car's been compromised. Let's not cause no more collateral damage. And I feel like that's a great analogy for Jackson, isn't it, right? It's like, well, what's done is done. Let's not cause any more collateral damage. But the collateral damage now is becoming our lives, right? Our kids. Young Chelsea. I'm just using her for an example because it's fresh on my mind. That poor girl did not deserve to lose her life that night. Or any other night. But she was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And somebody was sitting there just waiting and made their mind up they were going to kill somebody that night. It's terrible. It's terrible. I make no bones about it. I love my city. I live here. I work here. My family's here. But I pray every day about this place. It's a bad situation to be here. Let me look at some of these comments. Well, Thomas, I know about Chelsea not being at the wrong place. She wasn't doing anything wrong. I'm just saying she was at the wrong place at the wrong time at the red light. I know she wasn't doing anything wrong. Damn those bastards that said she was down there doing whatever, just trying to make excuses for the animals that killed her. We know she wasn't down there doing anything wrong. She had left the bar, I'm guessing, ended up at a red light heading back to the interstate, man. But they're going to try to swerve that any way they can to make it look like, oh, well, she was buying some drugs or something, so, she got what she had coming. We know damn well that ain't what happened. And we're going to clear the air on that here soon. And her friend was the target, and I've heard that too. And like I said, we're going to talk to her mom here. And we're gonna get her side of the story, hopefully. I tried to call her tonight. I was supposed to call her today. I've just been busy, man. We got some family stuff going on too. non-COVID related. Let me clear the air there. You can't say anybody's sick without it being COVID, but it was non-COVID related. So, but look, this is everybody's chance. This is kind of your heads up. This page is going to be growing past the Jackson borders. I've got way too much I want to say about what's going on in America. I'm still going to, all our pictures and videos and posts and all that stuff, that'll still be Jackson related. But I believe these live videos, I've got a really big voice. I got a lot of knowledge. I got a lot of things I want to say. And I got an angle to work bringing them back to a local level. And I believe that's really what I want to focus on moving forward. I've tiptoed around it. And because I'm like, well, we don't want to talk about national politics. There's so much of that out there. But with that said, I want to talk about national politics with local people and figure out how it affects our day-to-day lives. Guys like what Napoleon at the Cypher Voice does, man, if you need your finger on the pulse of what's going on in Jackson, not a better guy. I mean, man, somebody poops in North Jackson, he knows about it. I mean, you know, it's just, I've never seen someone so plugged in to the city. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's an honor to sit there on Sundays with that guy and do what we do. It's really unique. We're from two worldly different backgrounds. I love that guy. With that said, there will be no show this Sunday. Napoleon's going to be out of town, and I've got some family stuff I'm taking care of. We will resume the show, hopefully the following Sunday. If not, we'll work it out. Napoleon and I will always be doing a show together. So whether it's on Sundays or another night, but no plans to move it. I'm just saying, what if? We will definitely be doing a show together. We bring too much to the table. Two big audiences, two different audiences. And he really brings the best out of me and kind of forces me to talk about things I might not would normally talk about. So, love that guy. Love being held accountable. You know, ain't no gray area on that platform. I can get on here and have a little gray area. You know, do some what ifs scenarios. Thank you, Hump. Perfect duo. I agree, man. We have a great time. Let's have a little fun here, man, before we get out of here. We got any gun owners out there in the group? We're not really allowed to talk a whole lot about them, but I'm a big gun owner, man. Big Second Amendment guy. Honestly, I'm just a big constitutionalist. And I consider myself a constitutionalist more than I do myself a conservative. I've got an AR-15. I got a 40 cal Springfield. I've got a 45. Then I've got I always forget the other name of that gun, man. It looks like an Uzi. A CZ Scorpion. 9mm. Man, that's a really fun gun. If any of you guys are business owners, man, and you want to spend money with a conservative leaning social media platform, you need a spokesperson. Somewhere like a Guns and Gear. Man, would love to sit around and talk to you guys. I guess I can just call y'all out here, right? Man, would love to sit down and talk to you guys. Anybody, if you've got products that you think hardcore Americans would be interested in, you know, people that want to protect themselves and their families, we're probably the platform to advertise on. If you sell used guns, used stuff, anything like that, pawn shops. And I feel like we're probably the platform for you, you know. Would love to sit down and chop it up. My buddy makes these flags. I tell y'all about it all the time. You know, let's see. ARs, Glock 19. Man, I got some 12 gauges also. Some old family stuff. So, a couple things. These cups here, my buddy Bearded Cup Man hand paints them. Y'all hit him up. Any social media channel at Bearded Cup Man. You can't beat it. If you notice tonight's books, we've got Motley Crue, The Dirt. I mean, look, let's be honest. I may not agree with their politics, but this book is about that life. And man, this man is a legend. Pimp C from UGK. Sweet Jones, the Pimp C story. Man, look, if you grew up in South Jackson in the 90s, you were a UGK fan. If you weren't, you didn't grow up in South Jackson in the 90s. So it's a great book, tons of pictures, tons of great anecdotes and little short stories. Love it, love it, love it. Can't recommend it anymore. I always throw this one out there. This book changed my life. That's why this page and all this crap exists. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F by Mark Manson. Available at hard copies, digital, what's it called when they talk, Audible, all that. Highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. All right, look, that's it for the night. I wasn't even going to do this, but just kind of got piped up, got mad, got to think about people from Walmart, the Walgreens situation, Walgreens and Byram, man. If y'all got anything out there, make sure they got it. Call before you haul, because they may be closed. People at Walmart looking like trash, hiding behind the mask, embarrassing. I didn't know. I thought I was in a third world circus walking around there tonight. Butts hanging out with babies, and it's terrible. Terrible. I mean, and I'm no one to judge. But if you're bored, it's almost worth paying a cover charge to get in to go walk around and look at the people of Walmart and Byram. And look, I mean, I guess that's it. Stay tuned. We're going to start going heavy national as these civil unrest happen. I'm very interested in what's going on in Portland, Seattle, Chicago. I want to see how Trump's going to handle that because I believe inevitably, with the most radical mayor in America, this will be an issue here. So we need to see how it plays out there. Get prepared. Prepare your families. You know, can't have too much ammo, can't have too many guns, can't have too many dry foods. You know, it's always going to get worse before it gets better. You know, then of course magically on November 4th it all goes away. You won't hear another word about COVID after the election day, assuming how long they drag that out with this mail-in nonsense. So, look, man, peace. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Share this. Please, everybody hit the share button. We don't do a whole lot of views on the live, but I wake up in the morning and we'll have 7, 8, 9, 10,000 people who viewed these things, and that goes a long way with how this page works and stuff. So the more people that see it, the more shares we get, the more likes we get. It just goes a long way. Thank y'all so much, and check us out. Peace.